Hi everybody, and on this episode of The Fan Awakens, we're going to be talking about the third novel in the new Star Wars canon, Heir to the Jedi. First off, one of the issues that I've had, I'm still sort of a new Star Wars reader in terms of reading Star Wars novels. One of the issues I wrestle with is my desire to sort of comb through everything, looking for to snatch up breadcrumbs, little bits of information that directly ties to the films, and most of the books are very good about giving you those, but centered around a larger story, which is really certainly the right way to do it. But sometimes my focus is so heavily on what I already know that I eat up that stuff, and I tend to get bogged down in some of the other. This is an issue I wrestle with, and this book really kind of helped with that, I think. First off, it starts off with kind of a cool adventure where Luke gets to go and set up connections and stuff, and he meets a Rodian, I believe, who tells him he gets in a conversation about the Jedi and everything. Luke, it's funny because I'm like, sometimes I'm kind of like, Luke is a little bit too loose-lipped with his Jedi status, but it works out. He gets into a conversation about being a Jedi and about a Jedi who managed to escape, who was injured during Order 66 and managed to get all the way back home before he died, and he gets to go out to visit the guy's tomb and everything and find his lightsaber and stuff. And it's so, first of all, it's great. Anything for a fan my age, anything that ties the two trilogies together that way with Luke Skywalker in a situation talking about Order 66 is so great. That's so rewarding. Yeah, so that's all really interesting and good stuff. And then he's talking a lot. You get to, it's a real treat to get to hear Luke's thoughts, and it's amusing for us to hear his thoughts and what he's thinking about after the destruction of the first Death Star, but not, having known all the other stuff, so he's still real hung up on his father being a great Jedi and everything. That's pretty great. There's a whole sequence about him and this girl Nakari that he, is ultimately his love interest to some degree in the book. And they go to his planet with these crazy invisible killer beasts of some sort, and it gets a little bogged down there. But somewhere in the midpoint, they get on this mission that will take them to the end of the book, and it is great. And the pacing and the suspense and the excitement level of it was really addicting. And it was probably the first time where I was really so engrossed in the story at hand that I wasn't. And it kept my mind off searching for meaning beyond the book and relationship to the original films. So in that regard, this book was really good for that. It's not that it's necessarily better than the other books I've read, it's just that it was so immediate and so dire. So yeah, plot wise, it was a really good story. Luke, he goes on a mission. He's got to rescue a Imperial mathematician who's a math wizard, and he's got to rescue her and take her to escape and be with her family so she can help the Alliance. And it's really great, and there's just exciting escape sequences on land, and then exciting escape sequences in space, and a lot of intrigue and everything. And in the midst of all that, there's some really good Jedi stuff. He's working to feel out, whether he can do stuff. There's really great sequences where Luke is talking to his companion Nakari about being a Jedi, and she's encouraging him, and he's trying to move things with his mind, and he really explains how the Force is. And then he's talking to the mathematician, and she, interestingly enough, she can shed some light on stuff. There's a great part where, even she, who knows nothing of the Force, can explain, don't try to move the item, because you can't, you can't make something fly, but you can have the Force move it. And he, that helps him out too, and it's really great. And here, spoiler alert for this next little part, but in the end, there's this really heartbreaking sequence where they're all under attack from bounty hunters, and he's reaching out with the Force, and he can feel Nakari's presence in the Force, and then it disappears when she's killed, even though he can't see her. And he describes it as this hole in the Force where her presence had once been. And it's really beautiful, but it's also really insightful in a way that we haven't really ever sort of understood the Force. And then he explains it as a whole, and then he can feel anger and hate and things of that nature, dark side feelings rush in, and he even talks about how he felt more powerful and more focused. And it reminded me of Palpatine, telling Anakin that your anger gives you focus. So that was really good. That was really, really good stuff there. So yeah, basically I would say in the end this book was, I would call it a very good beginner's book. I mean, very good, simple, fun book that has a lot. It's a good, quick, compelling read. It makes you, it's got enough Star Wars stuff in it that makes you feel like you're really reading a Star Wars book. I mean, it's an adventure contained into itself that's really pretty exciting. Yeah. So anyway, it was really good. It was really good. I would definitely recommend it. I would definitely say it's a real good entry, beginner book. It was, wasn't, bogged down with a whole lot of stuff you really feel like you need to know a ton about. It was a good, fast-paced adventure book, but it had a lot of Star Wars insight in it. So yeah, I really dug it, and I'd recommend it. And next up will be the Lords of the Sith book, which I'm excited to get to. So that should shed some good light on the relationship between Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, or the Emperor. So until then, may the Force be with you.